Welcome everyone to this week's edition of the GSM Pride Spotlight. I have a return guest this week, Paul Parker. Welcome back, Paul.
Return guest, I like that.
Yeah, returning guest.
Yeah, what's going on?
What's up? Just going to get caught up with you a little bit, see what's been going on since we last spoke.
Yeah.
A little bit of a new role, right?
Yeah, it's a bit of a difference.
How's that going?
It's eye-opening.
Yeah?
It is eye-opening.
So we made Paul the team lead, but is the team lead for the whole floor, not just in different teams. He basically is ahead of all the other ones. So let's talk about that a little bit. What's some things that you weren't expecting? What's some things that you were expecting? How's the whole thing going?
I guess I didn't necessarily have too many expectations. It was just more so just getting into the role. What I looking at it from a store lens versus just a sales lens, it's different. It's different to try to put it in words. Is a bit tough for me, which is a shocker for me. But it's different in a way because you have to look at it from a collective perspective, and what it does is it makes me look at my deals different, how I used to work deals just as the salesperson versus looking at it from a store's perspective on how I work a deal.
Give me an example of that. What would you say you've worked differently since that transition?
Like following up with customers, looking at it from a manager's position. It appears to be more important from a manager's position because you're able to see the whole thing as opposed to, and I'm able to look at follow up from other salespeople and things like that and comparing it to mine. And some areas that I need to work on, being able to see how someone else worked it and was able to achieve some results from it. I've been able to, incorporate those things.
I know. Is it also the opposite, where you're realizing where some of our frustrations come from? When you see those,
100%.
you're like, really?
100%. And honestly, the biggest thing is it's really interesting, but being late, like it's kind of weird how I look at it now that I'm on the other side. It's really weird because, you wouldn't think, 10, 15 minutes means that much. But in the grand scheme of things, getting in early, just setting up your day, before the clock starts, it makes a difference. It really does make a difference. And it's good for me, and it allows me to help them better. And I think the relationship I have that I developed with them before I got the role, we have some trust amongst us.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, and I don't want you to point any names out specifically, sure, but is there anyone that's either shocked you in a good way or a bad way that you never really interacted with them overseeing what they do versus now?
Oh my God, I'm sweating something crazy. But
some of the camera lights.
Yeah, I think more, not even to try to go off of your point a little bit, I think it's helped me grow because they trust me. And some things that they may struggle with, that they see me do well in, they come to me. And it's a very candid, real conversation, you know what I mean? And this has been very eye-opening. Really, really, really good experience, man. Okay. Been a really good experience.
So we've already talked about this a little bit. I'm going to throw your name in the hat for the finance training. Is that something that you still feel you want to
Absolutely.
do?
Absolutely. Like we've discussed plenty of times, I love people. I really, really do love people, all types. And it's I get it from my dad, I think, and it's just I really enjoy it, and that role just allows you to, you got to deal with everybody, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, so that's going to probably come up in the probably late spring or early summer. My guess is you go down to Daytona for a week and go down there. That'll be a really big feather in your cap, because you'll see, you know, everyone's probably laughing at this right now. We've talked a lot about Brown and Brown.
Yeah.
And the reason is for that is because they really did blow me away with some of the things they did. So I think that'll be really good for you to see, not only just how they do things, but also it will give you that more insight of what you were talking about earlier, with more of a collective decision when things are happening. I think that's going to be a big feather in your cap moving forward. And then we've also talked about you potentially moving on up even further, right?
Yeah. I'm humbled, honestly. I'm humbled with the opportunity, and also with, I guess I would call it, some minor success I've had in the position. I mean, really minor, but it's motivating. You know, when you step up a little bit and you have, you know, you do fairly well, it's motivating. You know, it gives you the gas to keep pushing.
What you know, something that we've talked about a lot is consistency in the business, and you've been very consistent. You had a little bit of a dip there for a while when you weren't really feeling the job and what you were doing, but I think you got over that. What is it, if you could give any tip to anyone how to stay consistent, what would it be?
It is a mentality. It is a mentality, and it can be like that with just the mindset switch. Because even with like our daily activities and tasks and things like that, you know, when I would say a few months or so before I got the role, you know, it wasn't urgent. You know, the urgency to get them done and to be on top of it how you should. It wasn't there. And just a mindset change changed everything. And, you know, how I looked at videos before versus how I look at them now. You know, I'm motivated to do them now versus it's just something to do. You know what I mean? And it was as simple as a mindset change.
So would you use the term passion for what you do to help
Yeah,
you?
you gotta have something. Now, even if it's not passion for the business, I think you should have some passion for your integrity.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If it's not necessarily the car thing that really floats your boat, if you're in it, you should do it to the best of your ability. You know, whilst you're in it. So, you know, and that goes to anything that you're doing. So I won't necessarily. The passion has to be
More an internal thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
So outside work, you still doing things with the houses?
Yeah. It's crazy right now. I mean, the housing market is bananas. So I nibble and dab, but it's not what it was. But I have to keep my eyes in a few fires for sure.
Yeah, sure. What about inventory? Obviously, you're now
I'm
getting.
scared. I'm scared. Yeah.
What's your on the floors thought process of what things are happening with the inventory?
More than ever, urgency is the order of the day. If you're not contacting and getting a hold of these people immediately, your chances are slim to none. If we have a vehicle, it's not going to be here long, and so the race is who can sell it first. You know,
Yeah.
and that's what it's really turned into. Even like the inbound orders. I mean, I've never gone after inbound units how I'm going after inbound units.
I'll tell
You
you
really
a
got to
quick-
dig in.
I'll tell you a quick story. So I met with the electrician today for my house, and he pulled up in a new Maverick, and I'm like, "Where did you get that from?"
Right.
And he said he had his name. He had it here too. He had his name at every single dealership in 450 miles, and a place in Springfield, Illinois, called him and said, "Somebody just backed out. If you get it now, you can buy it." And that's how he got it. He
Yeah.
said he's been waiting for one for a long time.
That's just what it
He
is.
said he literally dropped everything, got in his car and drove there.
Well, the same thing happened
Yeah.
with our
He said it's
Maverick the
crazy.
other day. Yeah, it's crazy for sure.
One thing I did want to touch on that I really liked you saying in what you were talking about there is, do you see more now why when we change something, it makes more sense to you? Like the reason why I say that is the urgency thing. Mm-hmm. In the past, you know me, the follow-up, keep following up. Now it's transitioned to the first 4 days.
Sure.
Do you see why we necessarily make those changes on the dime now?
I mean, you have to.
Yeah.
I think the market, I think the climate of things, you have to be able to adapt on the fly in this business because, I mean, it could change again tomorrow.
But what I'm saying is from a management standpoint now, do you understand why, as a salesperson, sometimes things just change on a dime? You're like, where did that come from?
Sure.
And it's because the market is so volatile that we have to make these transitions fast.
Yeah.
And sometimes it feels like, and I hope you feel the same, it feels like that even as a manager, when we come out and tell you something, the next day we could tell you something totally contradictory to what we told you the day before.
Sure.
But it's because it changed that fast.
Sure.
And a lot of salespeople specifically have always found that hard. And we go, well, you just told me this yesterday. I know, but it changed. I can't change that.
Yeah.
And that's why I like that you in that role now. You're getting to see that where you've been one of the people that have questioned some of those things at times, and now I think you're realizing it's not really necessarily us, it's the market that's just making that change fast.
Yeah, and even having like sit downs with them, I found myself sounding like, and like it's weird. You know, they're coming at me with different stuff, and it's like, well wait a minute, it's really actually not like that.
Yeah.
It's because of this, and this, and it's like, I sound like them.
Well, but that's the thing is, we get tarred with this brush where we're all against everyone. That's not the case. There's just, we deal with a lot of different things. Whereas like you said in the very beginning, you really are in this kind of tunnel vision narrow of what you're dealing with.
Sure.
And we're dealing with what everybody's dealing with.
Yes, sir.
And that's why it changes so fast on a dime. And I think it's good for you to learn that stuff.
Yeah, it's been eye-opening for sure.
Good. Well, I think that's all I got for you. Just getting a quick catch-up. You got anything that you want to tell anyone at home?
He won't take me to see the big house yet. I want to go see the big house. He won't take me to see the big house.
Come on, see the
So
big house.
I don't know if this is getting put on YouTube, but in the comments, flood his comments with "Take Paul to the big house."
Well, wait a minute. Which big house? Which big house?
You got two of them?
No, I'm talking about
the one
the
being
big
built.
house.
I'm
Big house.
the one being
Prison.
built now. Oh no, not that one.
I'll get you to the big house.
Absolutely.
Well, you promised to build this retaining wall.
Let's do it.
I'm going to take you to show you how much you don't want to build that wall. Well, thanks for watching, everyone. Appreciate your time. As always, if we're at Fuse Ford, we can race the car, not the customer. I'll see you all next week.